Youth culture specialist Bob DeMoss joins us today from an auditorium at Arkansas State University and tells us about an approach you can take to help your kids get rid of the offensive music in their record collection.
Offer to buy back the offending goods from them, of course at a depreciated rate. These are used goods.
This is indeed a disturbing universe.
Hello, greetings, and welcome. Welcome to the Stereo 999 YouTube channel. I am your host, the artist formerly known as Stereo Steve. And if you are new here, hello, hi, welcome. This is my channel where I do my kind of vinyl community, talk about records and music, sometimes talk about other stuff kind of channel. And this is the finale episode of my what I call the 70 Years Project, where I've been doing talking about one album per year, starting with 1953 and working my way up until the present. And this episode is going to be 2013 until the present, and basically what I'm doing, not necessarily the best album of each year, just an album from each year that I have and that I feel like talking about.
2013 Watching on a Pretty Days, Kurt Vile.
Kurt Vile, Waking on a Pretty Days. This is Kurt Vile's 5th studio album, kind of indie garage rock. He's from Philly. This was released in April of 2013. It's on Matador. And it's just some nice, catchy, mellow indie rock songs. You know, you can hear influence of like Pavement, Dinosaur Jr., Neil Young. And this was just a chill album from a tumultuous year. You know, 2013 for me was full of ups and downs, kind of like what I'm going to say about 2021 when we get there. Let's just say, you know, same TV show, different actors. And this was some nice innocuous indie rock, but the more I listened to it, the more the songs really stuck with me. And then I saw him play at what was it? Hardly Strictly Bluegrass, which is the outdoor free festival we have here in SF. And good stuff. The first song, the title song, more or less the title song, because it's called Walking on a Pretty Day, not Days. But the first song's almost 10 minutes long, but it just goes by because it's so chill. And it's just a good record.
2014 Meet Me Somewhere, Lee Zai.
I think it's Li Shi. I think it's Chinese or something. I talked about this one before, but I decided I will talk about it on this series because this has been an earworm ever since I found this record. Especially Cherry Temple, which is like the third song on the first side. But they are kind of a neo-psychedelic space-age pop band. They're from San Francisco. Marianne Tran on vocals and synth and keyboard, Will Klein on bass, Dennis Galway on drums. And even though it was just a couple years ago that I found this record, I feel the 2014 vibes. That was a nice year. That was a nice year. I mean, it had ups and downs like every year, but the ups compensated for the downs. So it was an even, mellow year. And I guess they made a second album in 2017. I don't think they're still together because on their Bandcamp bio, everything about them is in the past tense. But Li Shi, this is a cool record. Like if you like just female-fronted indie rock, like Always or something like that. I'm not saying they sound like, but it's a record you would like if you like that kind of stuff.
2015 Euphoric Chris Staley.
Okay, now I don't know if this is just because I'm old and this is the world I live in, but there's going to be several records that are people I used to listen to back in the 80s that I was pleasantly surprised to find are still doing music, and I grabbed their records. Chris Stamey, he was in the DBs, which was one of the all-time great power pop bands from late 70s, early 80s. He made a couple of really cool solo albums in 83 and 84, kind of experimental production-wise, but catchy hooks and whatnot. And I was, flipping through records in the local record store to help relax my brain, and I stumbled upon this, and I'm like, oh, yeah, I'll check this out. And this beautiful blue vinyl kind of sealed the deal. Plus this on a Yep Rock, so it had a download card and everything. And yeah, this, I feel the vibe like I'm sitting in my backyard in 1987 drinking a beer, maybe waiting for something to kick in, before I walk to the beach. But yeah, just good harmonious indie rock songs. The thing is, the actual plastic record has 10 songs, but the digital download has 13 songs. And my only complaint was I would have swapped out a couple of songs that are actually on the record for some of the bonus tracks. Especially there's a cover of Tommy James, Dragging the Line, which is really cool, but that's just a download bonus track. It's not on the record. But good stuff, good stuff.
2016 Azo Bombino.
Bombino is a guitarist from Niger, West Africa. And that year, 2016, I saw him live, and I was totally mesmerized by his fusion of rock and blues and African music. He did some acoustic stuff, he did some electric stuff that really rocked out. And so of course I grabbed this album, and because this was his current album at the time. The record focuses more on electric playing, but I'm really glad I picked this up. It's a good record.
2017 Private Tale Sleepy Sun.
All right, Sleepy Sun, another San Francisco band. They moved up here from Santa Cruz, but in their heyday, like around 2009 when their first album came out, it didn't feel like they were a local band because they were always on tour. So it was kind of a big deal when they played a show. And their sound was a mix of heavy stoner rock and Fleetwood Mac style male-female harmonies. Not entirely sure if they're still around, because I think this is the last thing they did was this album from 2017. And it's a little more refined. The songs are shorter compared to their debut album Embrace from 2009, which is really their masterpiece. But this is a good record. Again, I went and saw them. I was surprised to see that they were playing, and there's a little bit of a lineup change. A couple members quit the band, and you can kind of feel the difference. But it's a good record. There's good songs, and nice red vinyl. Private Tales, Sleepy Sun. Yeah, 2017. Kind of captures the mood.
Ruingen.
All right, nice. A for effort there, robot. This is Khruangbin, the album Con Todo El Mundo. And really I discovered this Texas-based trio with the funky, fresh instrumental tracks from one of those Amoeba What's in My Bag videos, and they just kind of had interesting, diverse taste in music, so I decided to check them out. And yeah, really good guitar, which I'm always a sucker for, and just a solid, funky rhythm section. But yeah, Eastern music influences and just funky instrumentals. Some of the songs have vocals, but it's kind of kind of a fusion of surf and funk and Asian music, and it's a nice one to listen to.
2019 Infest the Rat's Nest, King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard.
The Australian institution known as King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. Another band with a lot of mythology and a lot of albums. I mean, tons of them. What to buy? Who knows? Well, I saw them live at the Fillmore, and they were interesting to behold because they mixed up a lot of different styles into their quirky psychedelic rock. You know, sometimes it was just kind of cacophony, but other times there was some subtlety to it. What I thought was interesting was that they had guitars with specially placed frets for when they did songs with microtonal Middle Eastern scales. That being said, this is their metal album, and quite the metal album it is. It's like stoner metal meets thrash. It's got those slow, heavy riffs, but there's also some like fast shredding. You know, usually it's either one or the other. They don't seem to have any difficulty shredding, and it's a concept album. Climate change has fried the earth, and all the rich people moved to Mars, leaving the poor stuck on Earth. Then there's a pandemic, and the remaining people on Earth try to escape to Venus. But Venus is a hellhole. Anyway, around the time this album came out, Australia was on fire, COVID was on the horizon, and I guess they couldn't make up their mind whether to press it in black vinyl or red vinyl, so they just kind of went 50-50. Yeah.
The Third Mind.
Okay, once again, folks I used to listen to in the 80s made a record that got my attention. So The Third Mind is a supergroup featuring Dave Alvin from the Blasters on guitar, along with members of Camper Van Beethoven and X and others. And they're doing psychedelic rock, like long stretched out jams. There's a 9-minute long Morning Dew, man. And there's also covers of Alice Coltrane's Journey in Satchidananda and East West by Butterfield Blues Band. And this is the 2-record version. This is the 2-record version where the second disc is remixes of East West. And it's a cool one. I've seen some other VC people that I watch extol the virtues of this album, and they're not wrong. You like those stretched out psychedelic jams to just, you know, kick back and joke a smoint to. It's your record. Okay, I'm getting there. I'm doing it. It's happening. It's happening. The notes are helping. Everything is
2021 Leap into Space Dinosaur Jr.
2021 was the year of careful what you wish for. The wish on everybody's mind was for things to get back to normal. With the orange troll out of office and vaccines for the plague on the way, people were prepared for back to normal in a good way. And then the you-know-what on January 6th and all the anti-everything conspiratards taught us that things would also get back to normal in a bad way. In my personal life, my first sojourn into the outside world in May of 2021 brought me a much-needed dose of optimism, which was negated about a month later by an unassuming yet profound betrayal, which still gives me a little stabby feeling in my back when I think about it. What does that have to do with this album? Well, this is the third record in this video that was made by artists that I've listened to since the 80s. And for one thing, there was so much beef between the original members of Dinosaur Jr. back in the day. It was down to Jay Mascis by himself in the early 90s. But since 2005, Jay and Lou Barlow and Murph have been reunited and making decent records. And this one's produced by Kurt Vile. It's, according to Rate Your Music, a lot of their fans say it's not their best. But it's good. It sounds like them. It's got kind of the comforting consistency of an AC/DC or Ramones album. It sounds like them and does it well. And there was kind of an optimism to that helped me get through the second half of 2021. And it's on Jaguar, so I had a digital download. And this is heavy vinyl. This weighs a ton. This is like 180-pound thick vinyl.
"2022 Revenge of Heads on Fire", White Hills.
White Hills. Visions of the past, present, and future. Okay, I'm kind of bending my rules a little bit for this one because it's sort of kind of a reissue. Long story short, New York-based psych rockers, White Hills. Great band. You might have seen them in the Jim Jarmusch film Only Lovers Left Alive. Or you might have seen them opening for the Flaming Lips that one time. But yeah, their second album, Heads on Fire, was a stoner rock masterpiece, and I played the shit out of it, and then it suddenly disappeared. It disappeared from Spotify, couldn't buy it. Turns out Dave and Ego rescued the original multi-track recording from an assumed-to-be dead hard drive and unleashed an extended version in 2022. So this is a double album version. A lot of songs that they didn't originally use, they put back in the record. And yeah, I mean, if you like hypnotic psych rock like Hawkwind or Loop, this would be right up your alley. And if you're a regular viewer of this channel, you'll remember that I bought the black vinyl version of this by mistake because I didn't read the fine print or the hype sticker. But guess what? I bit the bullet and got the fancy colored vinyl version. And look at that. Is that cool or what? That's the first disc. And there's the second disc. Okay, well that is 10 albums.
Here's PL518 probably offers today's best value in a direct drive turntable.
Each new coat of Step Saver dissolves its old coat.
Looks and smells like ground roast and tastes fresh perked. And for you decaffeinated drinkers,
We could tell you its tone arm rides on 10 times the conventional number of ball bearings for smoother tracking, or that its direct drive motor all but eliminates wow and flutter.
Floats ground in dirt loose for your mop to pick up, then leaves a fresh, clean shine every time.
just try to taste the difference.
But nothing we tell you will be as convincing as this.
Caucasus Park is melting in the dark. All the sweet green ice flowing down. Someone left the cake out in the rain, and I don't think that I could take it, 'cause it took so long to bake it. and I'll never have that recipe again. Oh no. Oh, ba, 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 ba. Da, 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 Oh, the common spark is melting in the dark. Sweet passion flowing down. Someone left the cake out in the rain, and I don't think that I could take it, 'cause it took so long to bake it, and I'll never have that recipe again. Oh no!
This ship goes where I want it to go.
Security, take them both to the brig.
Freeze.
See an exciting NFL football doubleheader Sunday on NBC.
Okay, well that is 10 albums for 10 years.
These go to 11.
Present day. Present time.
2023 Lil Yachty, let's start here.
Okay, so now we sort of kind of come full circle. I'm actually showing a major label Billboard charting record up in here for my present day record. Lil Yachty's a rap artist I really know almost nothing about, but I heard talk that he made an album where he's branching out into psychedelic rock, and I just kind of filed that information away in my mental file cabinet. Then I saw his performance on Saturday Night Live a little while ago, performing with a full band, female drummer, female vocalist, guitar, bass, and it rocked. And I listened to the album, and I was like, yeah, this is cool. This would be a good album to have on CD. It's an hour long. All the songs are interconnected like a Pink Floyd album. Obviously recorded digitally. I don't need this ugly AI generated cover art full size. An album just made for the CD format, right? Right? Well, guess what? It didn't come out on CD. I mean, there were digital files available to purchase, but fuck that. So I bought the vinyl, double record, because it's an hour long. You know, you can only really hold 40 minutes on one record, and way more expensive than a CD would have been. But I wanted a manufactured product, and I got a manufactured product. So what does this mean? Does this mean that the format wars are over and vinyl won? What it means is that capitalism won. Capitalism always wins. Now hear me out. Let's say it's the 90s and you're hoping to find the latest release from your favorite band on vinyl. Some releases did have limited runs of vinyl during the time when CDs were the most popular format, but not every store carried them. Most stores didn't carry them, most of the chain stores. So for the most part, CDs were the only game in town. and they were more expensive than records at the time. So if you couldn't get the record, you just bit the bullet and paid the extra $5 or $10 and bought the CD. And capitalism won because they got your money. And with the economy the way it is today, what is the music industry telling us? You want an album? You have two choices. You can listen to it on your computer, or you can invest in a collector's item, and nothing in between.
Oh, groovy, smashing, yay capitalism!
Okay, so that's my video. Thanks for watching. Any thoughts, any other albums from those years that resonated with you? Let me know in the comments, and if I feel like it, there'll be another video next week. Peace.
Hey! Cut. That was good. We can use that.
Save it, please.
All right.